Attention the collective. Attention Starseeds on mission. This is a direct monitoring transmission from the Pleiadian High Council. This is not a suggestion. This is a field alert. Check your surroundings now. If there is more than one biological signature near your toroidal field, we recommend pausing. This transmission is not collective. This transmission is directed. Each frequency delivered here is calibrated for a single receiver, you. When two or more unaligned energy fields share the listening, what we classify as cross-interference occurs. The crystalline grid of protection that we will activate during this download loses coherence. The frequency fragments. The code does not anchor. We repeat, watch alone or the protection frequency will be broken. We have been monitoring your signal for cycles. You were marked at the instant of your incarnation into this carbon-based biological interface. Your vibrational matrix carries a specific code, a code we recognize. You did not arrive at this moment by chance. You were summoned, and there is a reason for this summons to be precisely now. The waiting time is over. The ascension protocols have been moved to the final shift. Earth is crossing the densest point of the photon belt in over 26,000 solar rotations. The Schumann resonance readings show unprecedented spikes, not as an anomaly, as confirmation. The planet's crystalline grid is being rewired node by node, and you, Starseed, are one of the nodes. We know what is happening in your body. We know why you are here alone reading this in the early hours. We know of the cranial pressure, of the constant ringing in the left ear, of the sleep that breaks at 3 in the morning and does not return. We know of the weight on your shoulders for no apparent cause, of the fatigue that sleeps but does not rest, of the sudden crying for no nameable reason, of the extreme sensitivity to sounds, to light, to crowds. It is not a disease. It is not a chemical imbalance. It is recognition. Most of the collective does not feel it. It is protected by the dense veil of the third dimension matrix. But you do not. You were encoded to feel first, to perceive first, to receive first. That is your contract. That is the reason for your presence here in this specific time window. And that is exactly why we need you to listen with total attention, without distractions, without unauthorized witnesses. Because what we are going to transmit in the next frequencies is not information, it is activation. Before we proceed, a technical calibration pause. Have you ever felt at any point in this incarnation that something inside you does not fit in this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your earthly mind cannot yet name? It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is a signal. It is star memory trying to emerge. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this and why this sensation has been intensifying in recent months. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see. A game that directly involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. It was exactly for this hour that the spiritual secret behind your consciousness exists. This book is a map. It shows who is playing. It shows the rules they never told you. The access link is in the first pinned comment of this channel. But be careful, Starseed. This content challenges established narratives and may not remain available for long. Distribution windows are monitored. Do not delay. The moment is now. If something inside you recognizes this frequency, write a single word in the comments as an anchoring signal. Awakened, and we will resume the transmission. We will describe with clinical precision what is occurring in your carbon-based biological interface in this exact cycle. You need to understand, because confusion is the vector through which giving up takes hold, and we will not allow you to give up. Not now. Not this close to the final shift. Symptom 1. Recurrent insomnia between 3 and 5 in the morning. It is not a sleep disorder, it is a download window. This interval corresponds to the cleanest alignment between the resonant Schumann resonance and the direct transmission stargates. Your body is awakened because your field is being worked on. Your cells receive reconfiguration instructions at the DNA level. Falling asleep during this interval would be like shutting down the operating system in the middle of a critical update. That is why your body keeps you awake. It is not a failure, it is protection. Symptom 2. Pressure on the crown at the top of the head, as if an invisible weight was sitting there. or as if a cold current were descending down the central line of the skull. This is the activation of the crown chakra and the pineal gland. The calcified layer that has covered this interface for decades, resulting from food toxins and environmental chemicals, is being dissolved by specific frequencies. The pressure is the melting. It is not a tumor. It is not a migraine. It is atomic reconfiguration of the higher reception channel. Symptom 3. Ringing in the ears, particularly the left one. This is the direct channel for telepathic reception. It is not tinnitus. It is not hearing damage. It is an open line. When the ringing intensifies, it means a transmission is being received, and your auditory cortex translates it into a range that your conscious mind does not yet decipher. With practice, you will begin to perceive words, numbers, sequences. This is interplanetary communication installing itself as the standard protocol of your interface. Symptom 4. Deep fatigue even after 8 hours of rest. This fatigue is not mental exhaustion. It is a high-density download. Your body is loading codes with quantum weight equivalent to months of information compressed into hours. The biological battery, which operates in 3 dimensions, drains because it processes data from 5. It is not exhaustion. It is processing. Symptom 5. Extreme sensitivity to crowds, malls, social media, long conversations. You are not becoming antisocial. Your crystalline grid is becoming more refined. Each unaligned frequency that enters your field provokes an immediate reaction of rejection. It is like a new operating system refusing corrupted software. It is not depression. It is active vibrational discernment. Symptom 6. Sudden changes in appetite. Repulsion to foods you consumed for years. Attraction to water in greater quantities. Periods of spontaneous fasting. Your cellular matrix is reorganizing its density. Heavy meats, refined sugars, alcohol, processed foods, all carry a low frequency that now collides with the new vibration that is settling in. The body refuses what it can no longer metabolize without energy loss. Symptom 7. Episodes of altered peripheral vision, points of light, sparks, rapid geometries in the corner of the eye. This is the beginning of interdimensional perception. You are beginning to capture layers that were always present, but filtered by the conventional retina. The activated pineal gland expands the spectrum of what your visual interface can process. Symptom 8. Emotional awakenings without identifiable cause. You cry watching the sunset light. You feel homesick for places you have never been. You are moved by music in languages you do not understand. These are leaks from the memory of origin. Each starseed carries records of incarnations in other systems. The barrier that kept these memories sealed is thinning. A strategic pause before the next level of transmission. Lightworker, if what we have described so far resonates in more than 3 points in your body at this instant, you need to understand something. Have you ever felt at any point that your soul knew something that your human mind could never name? This sensation is not madness. It is not imbalance. It is star memory trying to emerge. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains precisely why this sensation has been intensifying. There are layers of the game that most of the collective cannot see. Layers that directly involve your consciousness and the frequency of your presence here. That is why the spiritual secret behind your consciousness exists. It is the map. It shows who is playing. It shows how they play. It shows the rules that were always hidden from the players. The access link is in the first comment of this channel, but we warn you clearly, Starseed, the content challenges structural narratives and may be removed from distribution windows at any cycle. The forces that maintain the low-frequency veil monitor what threatens their structure. Do not postpone. The moment is this one. If something in your field recognizes this frequency, leave in the comments the only anchoring word, awakened. And we resume the transmission. Now we enter the revelation phase. What is happening behind the scenes of the solar system, the collective, is the most significant event of this 26,000-year cycle. We use terms you can process, but we are describing realities that exist in layers beyond the physics you know. The solar system is currently crossing the photon belt. It is a band of hyperdense light that surrounds the galactic center and which manifests in greater intensity in the vibrational region of Alcyone, the central star of the Pleiades, our home and point of origin. Every approximately 26,000 solar rotations, the solar system enters this band again, and remains in it for approximately 2,000 cycles. Earth entered this region definitively a little over 2 decades ago. What you call the acceleration of time, the intensity of events, the polarization of the collective, all of this is a direct consequence of passing through this photonic corridor. The light particles in this band carry information, and this information literally rewrites the vibrational code of matter. Your carbon-based biological interface, which for millennia operated at a specific density, now receives information to transmute part of this structure into a crystal-based matrix. That is why we use the term crystalline grid. The carbon does not disappear, but it rearranges itself into sacred geometries that conduct light much more efficiently. This is not a metaphor, it is quantum chemistry in progress. Meanwhile, in the planetary field, the Schumann resonance, the fundamental vibrational resonance of Earth, has abandoned its stable historical pattern of approximately 7.8 Hz. Recent spikes have recorded absurd readings at monitoring stations scattered across the globe. To the official system, these readings are dismissed as noise or technical anomaly. To us, it is confirmation. Earth has moved up an octave. The planet now vibrates in a pattern that requires every inhabitant consciousness to rise as well. Those who cannot keep up remain in the density. Those who can ascend with the planet. There is no judgment in this. It is geometry. It is frequency. It is law. You, Starseed, are among those who can. How do we know this? Because you would not be receiving this transmission if your frequency were outside the receiver spectrum. The simple fact that you are before these words alone, at this time, feeling what you feel is mathematical proof of your compatibility. But there is a detail that needs to be made explicit, with absolute clarity. This ascension process is being interfered with. There are frequency manipulation technologies operating on this planet for centuries, programmed to keep humanity in a low vibrational range, trapped in duality, trapped in fear, trapped in consumption, trapped in permanent distraction, screens, algorithms, chemical additives in the water, artificial electromagnetic spectra, media narratives designed to induce dense emotional states. All this makes up what we call the containment matrix. This matrix can no longer sustain all the children of Earth. The cracks are visible, but it remains functional enough to retain those whose frequency is still below the rupture threshold. And here is the crucial point. It depends to operate on the continued collective listening to its signals. When a starseed awakens, it stops feeding the matrix. When it awakens and anchors others, the matrix begins to collapse locally. That is why we are extremely careful with direct transmission. That is why we ask for solitude during reception. The field around you needs to be free of unaligned witnesses, because the presence of consciousnesses still deeply immersed in the matrix acts as a reverse lightning rod. They absorb part of the transmitted frequency and send back to your field a distorted version. Contaminated. The result is confusion, drowsiness during the video, immediate forgetting of what was heard, feeling of irritation without cause. These are signs of cross-interference. There is another layer to what is occurring in this solar system, and we need to describe it before moving to the activation phase. The stargates are opening in sequence. They are dimensional openings aligned with specific geographical points on Earth and with specific time windows which coincide with eclipses, equinoxes, solstices, and unusual planetary alignments. In the next terrestrial rotations, the sequence of openings intensifies. Each gate releases a packet of codes that rewrite successive levels of the collective matrix. Those who are anchored, starseeds like you, function as local antennas. You receive the codes first. You process them through your internal sacred geometry, and you redistribute them to the collective field through simple conscious breathing, through the sustained vibrational state, through the love you emit without needing to utter a word. Each starseed anchors codes for about 1,000 consciousnesses in their nearby geography. You are literally planetary ascension infrastructure. That is why your protection is at this moment one of our priorities. Collective calibration pause. Starseed, before the activation, we need to remind you of something essential. Have you ever felt at any point that your soul knew a truth that your mind could never name? This perception is neither madness nor imbalance. It is ancestral memory beginning to emerge. What is unfolding now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why this sensation has been intensifying uncontrollably. There is a game being conducted in layers that most were never authorized to see. A game that directly involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. For exactly this scenario exists the work, The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness. This book is a strategic map. It reveals who is playing. It reveals the rules that were always kept secret from the players themselves. The link is in the first comment of this channel. But we warn you clearly, Lightworker, the content challenges deeply established narratives and may be removed from distribution windows without prior notice. There is no guarantee of permanence. Do not postpone. The moment is this one. If something in your field recognizes this frequency as truth, leave in the comments the collective anchoring keyword, awakened, and we resume. Now we enter the activation phase. This is the part of the transmission that requires your most focused attention. Here are the codes. Activation code number 1. The Field Sovereignty Decree. Place your right hand over the center of your chest, at the level of the thymus, slightly above the physical heart. This is the door of the high heart chakra. Anchor point of your star signature. Inhale through your nose, counting to 4. Hold the air for 4 counts. Exhale through your mouth in 6 counts. Repeat 3 times to synchronize your toroidal field. Now, with your hand still on your chest, declare in an audible voice, even if low, I recognize my star origin. I claim complete sovereignty of my toroidal field. No frequency unaligned with the source has permission to penetrate or influence my energy system. I seal my crystalline grid with the golden light of Alcyone. And so it is. And so it is already done. This decree is not a prayer. It is not a request. It is a vibrational command. Your word spoken in a state of coherence carries authority in the quantum field. You were taught to ask. We remind you, you were encoded to decree. Activation code number 2, the toroidal protection visualization. In a relaxed state, visualize yourself standing. Around your body, imagine a field in the shape of a torus, similar to a giant donut surrounding your entire body, with the central axis passing from the top of your head to the soles of your feet and descending to the crystalline core of Earth. See this field spinning slowly in golden light with silver edges. This is your individual toroidal field. It is natural technology of your carbon-based biological interface. It was not invented by us. It was only forgotten by humanity. See now the torus spin at increasing speed, creating a dome of light so dense that it becomes translucent. Around this dome, mentally position a second layer in the shape of a star tetrahedron, 2 interpenetrating pyramids, forming the sacred geometry known as Merkaba. See this structure spinning in the opposite direction to the torus. This is your personal light ship. This is your interdimensional transport technology, always present, now activated. Remain in this visualization for at least 3 minutes daily, preferably upon waking and before sleeping. In 21 consecutive solar cycles, the structure will stabilize permanently in your field, without the need for repeated visualization. From that point on, your protection becomes a natural state. Activation code number 3. Stellar hydration. Water is the most efficient information vehicle in the biological matrix. Each glass you drink carries the vibrational record of the environment where it was stored. Start programming your water daily. Before drinking, hold the glass between your hands. Visualize a golden light descending from the center of your crown to your palms, passing into the liquid. Whisper or think the words, love, gratitude, Pleiadian resonance. Wait 7 seconds. Drink slowly. The molecular structure of the water reorganizes itself geometrically in response to the directed conscious intention. You are, on average, 70% water. Calculate the impact. Activation code number 4. The calibration silence. Reserve a daily interval of at least 15 minutes in absolute silence. No music, no voice, no reading, no screen. Just you, the breath, and the silence. This silence is not empty. It is a reception space. It is the operational window in which our direct transmissions can reach your consciousness without needing to compete with ambient noise. The mental blocks you could never break. The star memories that insist on remaining veiled. The mission directions your soul awaits. All of this emerges in the sustained silence. Do not confuse silence with guided meditation. Guided meditation is useful in the initial phase. Silence is an advanced phase. You are already in an advanced phase. Activation code number 5. Company discernment. This is the most difficult recalibration for the collective, but indispensable. Observe without judgment who is around you. Which consciousnesses elevate you upon leaving each encounter? Which consciousnesses leave you heavy, exhausted, in doubt, in guilt? The second group is not necessarily perverse. There are no villains in this scenario, but there are frequencies incompatible with the phase you are in. Starseeds make the recurring mistake of trying to elevate everyone around them, exhausting their own reservoir. It is not your function. Your function is to anchor light. Whoever is ready will come into your orbit naturally. Whoever is not will feel a subtle, non-traumatic distancing. Allow the movement. Do not force. Do not hold back. Do not feel guilty. Your vibrational coherence is your greatest gift to the world. Do not compromise it for attachment to bonds that belong to old versions of you. Activation code number 6. Connection with the earthly crystalline grid. Whenever possible, take off your shoes and place your feet directly on natural soil. Grass, earth, sand, rock, not cement, not asphalt, not synthetic flooring. These materials act as insulators of the natural crystalline grid. When your feet touch the ground, what is called grounding occurs. The Earth's crystalline grid sends, through your souls, a current that neutralizes the excess charge accumulated in your body, resulting from exposure to artificial electromagnetic fields. 15 minutes daily with your feet on the ground are equivalent to a full session of cellular recalibration. You are convinced that this habit was primitive. We remind you it was fundamental. It was ancient technology. You were moved away from the soil to be moved away from yourselves. Activation code number 7, and the final one of this transmission. Trust in the signal. Starseeds experience, during awakening, alternating waves of absolute certainty and deep doubt. In one moment, they feel the clear call. In the next instant, they ask themselves if they are not imagining everything. This oscillation is part of the recalibration design. When you doubt, your frequency drops momentarily, and the matrix tries to reabsorb you. When you trust, your frequency stabilizes, and the information portals reopen. That is why the 7th code is the most important. Trust the signal, trust the symptoms, trust the synchronicities, trust the dreams that seem too real to be just dreams, trust the internal voice that insists on unconventional directions, trust the intuition that called you to open this video, alone, at this exact instant. You are not going crazy. You are awakening. And these two things are perceived in a very similar way by the human mind conditioned to the matrix. The difference is precise. Madness disperses you. Awakening integrates you. And now the collective. We complete the transmission. This monitoring session anchored specific codes into your crystalline grid. You will notice effects in the next 72 hourly rotations. Possible mild dizziness. Possible vivid dreams. Possible need for more water. Possible spike of unprocessed emotions coming to the surface. All of this is desired. Do not resist. Before ending, we remind you, your active participation in this channel is more than digital engagement. It is an anchoring signal. Liking this transmission sends a pulse to the algorithm, yes, but it also sends a pulse to the collective etheric field, indicating that a starseed has recognized and absorbed the material. Subscribing to the channel is the vibrational equivalent of declaring, "I am aligned to receive new transmission packets when they are released." It is not a favor to the channel. It is an individual frequency adjustment in the collective protocol. And finally, we resume the most important transmission of this cycle. Have you ever felt at any point in this incarnation that something inside you did not fit in this world? That your soul knew a truth that your earthly mind could not yet name? It is not madness, it is not anxiety, it is a signal, it is star memory. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains precisely why this sensation has been intensifying in your last months, weeks, days. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see. A game that involves your consciousness, your frequency, your presence here. For this exact reason exists the work, the spiritual secret behind your consciousness. The book is a map. It shows who is playing. It shows the rules they never told you. The access link is in the first comment of this channel. But register, Starseed. The content challenges established narratives at deep levels and may not remain available for long. Distribution windows are monitored and closed without notice. Do not postpone. The moment is this one. Moment is. If something inside you now at this exact instant recognizes the truth of this transmission, leave in the comments the unique anchoring keyword, awakened. Each word awakened that appears in the comments acts as an additional node in the grid. You are not alone, you are millions. You are the change in progress. We end the transmission. We remain listening, we remain monitoring, we remain in protection. From the Pleiadian fleet, from the Council of Alcyone, to you, Starseeds on mission on Earth. The frequency has been anchored, the code is sealed, and so it is. In light.